What's up, fellas? It's time to wake up. Let's get our freaking minds right. It's Wake Up Mintzy. We are not live from the Barstool Chicago office. Ton of stuff to get into, but as always, the only way to start your day with a sip of Stella Blue coffee. All right, that feels better. Shout out to Stella Blue, too. 4 cold brew flavors coming out today. Medium roast, dark roast. I believe there is a cinnamon as well. Big Cat. Great American, but look, summertime, you need some cold brew. Like, I'm a believer when it comes to coffee. When it's cold, I drink hot coffee. When it's hot, I drink iced coffee. Stella Blue's got the cold brew you need. Launches today. Tried all 4 flavors. They're amazing. Shout out Big Cat. Ton of stuff to get into today. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend. Sports World, Barstool, just so much stuff going on. Tyler Moody holding down the fort from Louisiana. We're going to be joined by Billy Football here in a minute. He's out in Las Vegas. Billy and I had quite a wild time Sunday night at Red Rocks in Denver. He's out hitting the open road all over America. Can't wait to catch up with him. All right, as always, too, got to thank the fine folks of Dude Wipes for sponsoring Wake Up Mintzy every day. One use of Dude Wipes will change your life. You'll never need dry, scratchy, crappy toilet paper again. You can find them at Amazon, Walmart, Target, and on the World Wide Webs. It's a revolution. Dude Wipes is taking over the world, and literally, you use them once, you'll know the difference. And they've also, check out their new product, the Odor Destroyer. Kills bad odor in the bathroom. Dude Wipes, letting it rip, changing the game. All right, we'll go ahead and start. There's so much stuff to get into. We'll start on the sports front. You had not one, but 2 winner-take-all games last night. We'll start with the College World Series. Tennessee and Texas A&M. The 1 seed Tennessee and the number 3 seed Texas A&M played the 2 out of 3 national championship series Saturday through Monday. Tennessee Volunteers get it done. 6-5 last night. They are the national champions. They deserve it, as much as I hate to say it. They lost game 1, 9-5. Showed great resiliency, winning game 2, 4-1, and then they won 6-5 last night. A&M almost came back in the ninth. They scored 2 runs, but ultimately it wasn't enough. And look, a lot of stuff to get to with this Tennessee team. First of all, they're a great heel team. I mean, they've got a lot of attitude. Some people say they're pricks. They don't care. They're the national champions. They win their way. Tony Vitello, super fiery coach. They get it from him. I've said it once, I'll say it again. They've been the best program the last 4 years. It is what it is. They're the first number 1 seed since 1999, 25 years ago, to win the college baseball national championship. And they made Omaha 3 of the last 4 years. The team that didn't make Omaha 2 years ago is one of the best teams I've ever seen. They won 60 games this year. They won the SEC regular season title. They won the SEC tournament championship. Now they win the College World Series. Look, there's no getting around it. They deserve it. A world where Tennessee fans get to celebrate a national championship is going to be a rough world, though. Their fans, I mean, I go at it with them all the time. They'll let you know how they feel on Twitter. We'll put it that way. Shout out to Big T, Connor Knapp. He got to be there last night. Saw the video. He was there for the national championship, one of our Barstool guys. Happy for him. You know, Tennessee, they've been really good, especially in baseball for 4 years. Basketball, they're consistently good. Football, they've kind of come back the last few years. Great athletic program. For the Vols, now they're national champs, and I'm sure they're going to run their mouths a lot, as they should, though. And, you know, you look at the college baseball national championship thing. Now, going back to 2019, Vandy beat Michigan in 2019. Mississippi State beat Vandy in 2021. Ole Miss beat Oklahoma in 2022. Last year, LSU beat Florida in 3 games, and now Tennessee beats Texas A&M. A lot of titles for the SEC. They own the college baseball world completely. And the year they didn't win, 2018, Arkansas dropped a foul ball in Game 2 that would have won the title. But the SEC, this College World Series is built as, you know, it was 4 SEC, 4 ACC teams, and the SEC just completely dominates once again. A&M comes up a little short. I know that's going to be tough. They lost Braden Montgomery, their best player, in Game 2 of the Super Regional, and their number 2 starting pitcher was out. Still an incredible run. I mean, they started out 10-0 in the postseason, I believe, but they ultimately lost their 2 games to clinch the College World Series. So the Tennessee Volunteers, national champions, and you got to give them credit. It is what it is. You got to tip your cap. As annoying as their fans could be, they deserve it. They support it, and that team was just dominant. I mean, you look at that lineup, they had like, I believe 5 or 6 guys, 20 home runs. Christian Moore, the second baseman, I thought was the best. You know, had one of the best games in Omaha I've ever seen on that Friday night. against Florida State when he hit for the cycle at 5 or 6. The loaded lineup. They deserve it. So congrats to Tennessee. They are your national champions. Other winner-take-all game last night was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. And, man, there were a lot of storylines to this one. Florida Panthers won the first 3 games. And then I guess they put their foot off the gas. Edmonton stormed back to win games 4, 5, and 6. A lot of Barstool storylines were going on with Nicky Smokes getting sent to Game 6 in Edmonton and sent to Game 7. He was the top of the nosebleeds, joining the Spittin' Chicklets guys. Read all of them, obviously. Ron Whitney and Biz. The podcast. Look, I didn't think Dave Portnoy could be beat in a futures bet in 2024. You look at the run he's been on. I mean, you see the Celtics won the title. He had that parlay with the Celtics and Scheffler. He bet Michigan against Bama for like $1 million. He had Kansas City in the Super Bowl. He had a huge futures bet on UConn. He had another golf bet this weekend on Scheffler to win a tournament. So he's done it with the Masters, the RBC, and now this. I didn't think it was possible for him to lose a bet. And when Edmonton stormed back 3-0 to 3-3, I was just like, this is the year that Dave Portnoy can't be beat or stopped. However, the Florida Panthers did it. They won 3-1 last night, winning their first Stanley Cup. It was rocking in Sunrise, Florida. Nicky Smokes lit up a cigar in the stadium, which I thought was pretty funny right after it was over. But, look, I got to say it. I've been talking about the hockey playoffs a lot on my Twitter. I'm officially seen enough to where I'm flipping my allegiance during the playoffs from the NBA to the NHL. The Stanley Cup playoffs are just amazing. The storylines, the drama, the intensity. I'll always support the New Orleans Pelicans in NBA, but when you compare the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs, they don't even belong in the same stratosphere. NHL playoffs are so much better. What a great Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton winning 3 in a row. Looked like they ran out of gas last night. Connor McDavid still won the Conn Smythe Trophy. That's got to be like, I don't even know how that feels to win the most valuable player when your team loses, obviously, because what have I ever been an MVP in? But I don't even know how he feels about it. But it just seemed like they were out of gas after winning the 3 in a row. The Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup. And, you know, last year they made the Stanley Cup Finals, lost in Game 5 to Vegas. And that takes so much out of it. You see this in sports. They always talk about this in NFL. The hardest thing to do is come back from when you lose the Super Bowl because it takes so much to get there. And so you just got to give Florida credit. I mean, they made it all the way to the finals last year and then bounced back the next year and win the Stanley Cup. Shout out to their organization. Bombrowski, the goalie's been there 14 years. He might be a Hall of Famer. Kachuk, they've got a bunch of good players. And it was rocking. I mean, I didn't realize, you know, the Tampa Bay Lightning have won like 3 cups, and now Florida wins one. I mean, South Florida, you never really think of it as the hockey mecca, but it's certainly become that. Florida Panthers Stanley Cup champions, Nicky Smokes, looked extremely happy last night, to put it mildly. We hadn't done a Wake Up Mintzy since the dozen on Thursday night. I want to shout out all the Stoolies for being there. Awesome event at the Riviera. Dave Portnoy, like I said, he can't be beat. Team ZD won the dozen. Great matches, though. I mean, the energy in the place was, I mean, it was almost sold out. The energy was incredible. There's nothing like the Stoolies. It was so much fun on Thursday. Uptown Balls beat the Booze Ponies in overtime and a thriller to start it. ZD beat the Experts. I thought this was going to be the year Brandon Walker finally won a title. Unfortunately for him, it was not. ZD was just too hot with Dave, Eddie, and Clem. And then really good championship matchup. Uptown Balls won it 2 years ago. Ultimately could not beat ZD. And Dave and Eddie and Clem won it. Eddie won the MVP. But a spectacular Barstool event on Thursday night. Just want to say shout out to the Stoolies. Thanks to Jeff D. Lowe for everything he's done for the dozen. 4 years in, the dozen's been such a cool product to Barstool. And now there's going to be a redraft. I don't know when this is coming up, but supposedly the top 4 teams are safe, and then everybody else is getting put into a new redraft. So Smockin getting broken up. I know a lot of teams are, but that should be an interesting storyline for Season 5. But shout out to the dozen. Some other stuff that I want to make sure I mention on here was, the case race that got taped late Wednesday night that aired Friday. The first Yak show that ever did over 1 million views, the Royal Rumble case race. Mark Titus drank like 21 and a half beers in 2 hours. Damn, that's incredible. That's very impressive. But the content was amazing. The Yak continues to just do amazing things daily. Awesome accomplishment, getting over 1 million views on the case race. Continues to grow. Amazing content, so much talent. Big Cat and the crew getting the damn thing done. But it was a huge, huge Barstool week last week. And then, you know, over the weekend, it was kind of funny. It felt like it was just a huge week. And then Friday, the Dave Portnoy and Hank thing in Boston was just incredible. You know, so there was a storyline with Hank and Joe Mazzulla, the Celtics coach. he went on Pardon My Take a few months ago, and then he went on last week. Like Hank's basically had to shave his head if the Celtics won. And Joe Mazzulla invites Hank on his duck boat the day of the championship parade. He's on there with Joe Mazzulla's family. And he had to have the bald head, and apparently he wasn't allowed to wear sunscreen. But Hank got to ride through Boston on the championship parade. Hank said it was his favorite day ever. Pretty awesome stuff. And then Dave Portnoy riding on the DraftKings float. Looked like he had the. I've never seen Dave happier than I saw the pics on Friday. Just smiling ear to ear. Got to hang out with Coach Joe Mazzulla, and Dave Portnoy continues to own the world. But it looked like a hell of a day in Boston on Friday. Happy for Hank and Dave. A lot of people are kind of traveling all over this weekend. I thought it was very notable. Big Cat and Titus went to the Sphere to see the Dead on Friday and Saturday. It sounded like they had an awesome time. Big Cat shared a story on the Yak yesterday. I thought that was super cool. He got to meet John Mayer. John Mayer slid in Big Cat's DMs, and Big Cat got to hang out with him in the green room 20 minutes before the Saturday night show. Big Cat said he was super cool. Thought that was awesome. Big Cat thanked John Mayer for helping keep the Dead music going long after Jerry Garcia's gone over 30 years ago. This summer, the Sphere looked incredible. I'm going to the July 4th Dead Sphere show, but glad Big Cat and Titus had so much fun. And over the weekend, I got to go to Red Rocks for like the 7th or 8th time. I can't even count. But I ran over there Saturday morning, had all kinds of hell travel delay stuff, but made it. And man, just the most beautiful place on earth. You see God's poetry in motion everywhere. It's just perfect weather Saturday night and Sunday. Awesome concerts, Widespread Panic as always. And with that, we're going to be joined by the man who joined me on Sunday night, he's on a road trip across America. And first of all, welcome, Billy Football. Thrilled to have you on Wake Up Mintzy. How are we doing this morning?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a blast to catch up with Billy. So Billy wrote a blog on Friday basically saying, hey, him and his dog Whitey were getting in the car and they were going across America. And, there's nothing more American than going west in the summer. And right when I read the blog, I immediately called Billy Friday night. And I was like, hey, is there any shot you're going to be in Denver on Sunday? And he's like, as a matter of fact, I am. And I was like, Red Rocks Panic Sunday night. Let's do it. And we did it. How are you doing today in Vegas?
That was wild. Yeah, so took off on Friday at 4:30 p.m. from New York and was aiming for Cincinnati. And, when you're doing these long car rides, it was about 11, 12 hours. When you're doing these long car rides, you're like, hey, call some people and hoping people call you back. Anyway, Ben hits me out of the blue, and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He's like, hey, are you going to be in Denver at all through this journey? And I was like, yeah, actually, I should be there for Sunday. And he was like, hey, Widespread Panic's playing that night. Do you want to go? And I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, going to a Widespread Panic concert with Ben Mintz is like going to a Knicks game with Spike Lee. I mean, it's a no-brainer. So we matched up. We, coordinated, got into Denver after driving. So like Saturday, we went from Cincinnati to Topeka, Kansas. And then Sunday we went to Topeka, got into Denver. I was in Golden, Colorado, drank some Coors Lights in Golden, Colorado, draft Coors Lights. They taste like champagne in Golden, Colorado because that's where they're brewed. Had a couple of Coors Lights that were going down real fast and they were real tasty. Went to meet up with Ben, got to the Panic show. It was different than a Dead show from a jam band perspective because the people I felt were just – there were not that many casuals. Everyone who was there to panic, and it was something else. Totally different breed of jam band crowd.
Oh yeah. Well, let's start with this trip. So you left New York. You're now in Vegas. Let's run through it. So you drove Friday to south of Cincinnati, and then what'd you do there?
Mm-hmm. I actually ended up going to Kentucky, Florence, Kentucky, and I went to the Creationist Museum and the Ark Experience just because I wanted to check it out.
What was
just
that
hear
like?
them out. Well, they have like Adam and Eve with dinosaurs, and they had a life-size Ark built out there. So just like hearing out some of their claims, like see where it all matches up. It was pretty wild. I mean, they sort of try to incorporate the Bible's existence with science as we know it. And there's a couple logical fallacies, but it was interesting.
What in
So
any
like
particular?
basically, they're like the flood, Noah's Ark, and the flood wiped out the dinosaurs, and it was real. I'm making a TikTok on it. I'm gonna write a blog on it today, but it was interesting. Just had to
So
check it out.
yeah, I love that. I love how you're so intellectually curious. I love it. So you did that Friday, and then you drove. How far was Florence, Kentucky to Topeka, Kansas? That sounds like it was far.
That one was another 12 hours. Yeah, I've been so first night 12 hours, second night 12 hours, and then Topeka to Denver was easy. It was 8 hours, so that was 32 hours, and then another 10 hours from Denver to Vegas. So I did about 42 hours of driving
Cool.
in a
So
weekend.
so did you do anything in Topeka, or did y'all just get there and pass out?
I went to Hooters. I
How
got
was
there
it?
at like 10
How
p.m.
how was Hooters in Topeka, Kansas?
It was so I kind of thought Hooters got gentrified in the Northeast. Like I thought, no one was actually wearing, like if you go to Hooters in the Northeast, it's kind of like the girls are wearing like uniforms, but it's not anything crazy. They were just in straight up bikinis in Topeka, Kansas. They were. It was a little wild. I was like, okay, this actually exists. This it was like walking back in time.
Okay, so Topeka, Kansas. The only thing I can think of Topeka, Kansas is the Almost Famous. Oh, did you ever see the movie Almost Famous? Or like Good Topeka People when he jumps off the roof. Do you remember that movie? No.
No, I
Okay,
don't think I've ever
that's
seen
the
that
only
movie.
thing I can really remember about Topeka is that. But apparently the Hooters in Topeka, Kansas, they're throwing down. You told me
Yeah, they are.
you told me one of your favorite parts of the trip was when you were driving from Kansas and you could start seeing the Rocky Mountains. What was that like?
Oh, dude, that was insane. I mean, when you're driving, so at that point, we're about 30 hours into the trip, and when you're going from the Atlantic Ocean and you're driving across country, the topography changes, but a good stretch from the Mississippi to the Rockies is just flat land. And you know, Kansas was a little more interesting. I thought a lot less corn than people advertise in Kansas. I guess that's more Nebraska. Um, but when you see the Rocky Mountains coming over the horizon, it is like that's a landmark. We made it. Like we made it across country. Like we're almost there. So that was pretty wild. So
Cool.
just like seeing that outline, because you're the whole time you're just seeing huge sky, and the horizon is just nothing, and you're just like waiting to see those Rocky Mountains. And when you finally do, it's something else.
Yeah, you were making a
So
comment to me that I thought was interesting about how big the sky is when you get out west.
yeah, so for some reason when you like cross Missouri and you start getting into the flatland, the sky just gets huge. It's like the weirdest thing. Like the sky is like bigger. I think it's because it's just so flat that you can just there's more sky. I can't even describe it. I think it's because there's less trees, less mountains. There's
Yeah,
not as
stuff's
much
not in your
obstruction
sight
to
lines.
view. Yeah, and you can just see for miles, and it's just a big western sky. But it's different, man. But finally got to Vegas. Um, got a little work to do here, so gonna be taking off again on Thursday. I'm gonna be heading north, so try to hit some of the natural parks in Utah. I think I've hit around 12 states already on this trip. New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, and then Kentucky, Missouri. Oh no, Illinois, uh, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri,
Kansas,
Kansas, and then
Colorado, Utah, Vegas,
Colorado.
no, Utah, Nevada.
Yeah, and
Damn,
Arizona. So
damn.
that might be 13. So and I got more to go. So it's just been an awesome trip. Check out the next episode of Audio Crack. Yesterday's episode was with Dirty Water Dawn, but Wednesday we're going to be getting the Mintzy episode up. Mintz and I recorded a very fun episode after the Panic concert.
Yeah, we
It's
ended
going to
up.
require a lot of editing.
Yeah, I would think so. The late night, midnight post Red Rocks Audio Crack. But check out Audio Crack. I love that you're taking it around the nation. What inspired this westward journey?
Basically, I kind of figured out where I was going for July 4th and where I was going on a business trip this week are fairly close. And I did some math in, 2 round trip plane tickets plus, lodging in some respects would be more expensive or just as expensive than if I just drove everywhere. So did some math. And also, it's just way more fun.
Where are you going for July 4th? Or can you not
I'm
tell?
going to be heading up Pacific Northwest region.
Okay.
So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So that'll be a cool drive.
Hell yeah. So what? Okay, now I want to go back to the Red Rocks thing. I'm just asking about Red Rocks, not even the panic part. What did you think about just, I know you said you'd hiked around Red Rocks before. What did you think about how beautiful it was?
Oh, I mean, between the sunset, just it was built for concerts. I don't know. They literally just found the best place on earth of natural construction to put a concert hall, and just the giant on the left, the giant rock just perfectly covers the sun at some points, but then doesn't block the sunset. And then you can have a great view of the moon. It's really something. And when you go there, you can just feel the energy. And something about the way the sound bounces off the rocks is something I have never experienced before in like any other concert venue.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's all like if you haven't been to Red Rocks, like I said, it's not even about what your favorite band is. It's just go see whoever you like there because it's an unbelievable experience. And one of my favorite things about it is it starts during the day, and it was hot during the day, but like the first set's during the day and sunny, and then it gets dark in the second one at night. And you can like feel the whole vibe change, and then you got the Denver skyline 18 miles below, rocks to left and right. You got the Note Eater graphics bouncing off the rocks, the energy, everybody's standing, the place is packed. I mean, it's like the happiest place on earth. I mean, I don't know.
Dude,
It's just unbelievable.
speaking of the heat, it's been 100 degrees since Ohio. So when I was driving from Ohio, it was just 100 the whole way. Like it was pretty tough on the dog because you can't have a dog. One, of course, you can't leave a dog in a car when it's like even 70 degrees. But it was just a little touch and go, and try and get gas, try to let the dog out, and it's 100 degrees out, and he's a pretty hefty animal. So it's like, it was 114 degrees when I was driving from Denver to Vegas. Like right in Utah, southern Utah, it was 114 degrees. That's the hottest I've ever been in. I don't know about you. It
114.
was yeah. So like when I was driving from Denver was 100, and then slowly it was climbing up over the desert in Utah. And like 114 degrees is insane. I literally pulled the car over just to feel 114 degrees.
You said
Like how hot it was.
How is Whitey doing okay with it?
He's doing okay every day. When we arrive wherever we were, he'd get a longer walk. After being in the car all day, and I'd have to throw him in the shower after every time to cool him down because it was just so hot. Like like I didn't want him to get heat stroke or anything, so just like we'd be hitting hotels and just throwing him in the bathtub and cooling him down because it was hot.
Yeah, man, that sounds crazy. The heat wave's hitting America. It's not too hot up here right now. It's actually, we have a very rainy kind of day this morning. Vegas, I know you're busy with some work stuff. You got any fun stuff you're getting to do in Vegas? Anything you're going to explore?
I got some interviews lined up for later in the day, hopefully on audio crack. But my favorite part of Vegas is probably old downtown Vegas, just because the blackjack's just way better down there. I don't know what it is. $5 tables, just way better.
Go hit up the go. I know you like exploring stuff in history. Go hit up the Mob Museum in Vegas. That's super cool.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Go check out the Mob.
I'm gonna go do that.
That's something that would be right up your alley. The Mob Museum is really cool.
That's really
awesome. It's in downtown too.
Dude, Lake Mead has just a ton of bodies that are washing up because it's so hot, it's drying up, and the water levels are lowering. And people are just finding old mob hits in Lake Mead that just got dumped there.
Yeah, that reminds me of the movie Casino. It's like where the desert, where all the problems are buried. I guess there are a lot of holes in the desert, and there are a lot of problems buried in those holes. Wow, that's crazy. So they're just washing up left and right.
Yeah. So
I hope I don't end up in
Crazy
Lake
stuff.
Mead. Hopefully we don't end up in Lake Mead.
Hey, Ben, you got any debts no honest man can pay? End up in Lake Mead?
Yeah, I'm actually going to Vegas on Saturday. I'm going on Saturday myself, so I'm going to just miss you out there. Barstool, next week being 4th of July, I'm out there playing World Series of Poker all week, and I'm doing Dead at Sphere the 4th and getting ready for my 9th World Series main event. So kind of excited about doing the Vegas deal. I'm staying Horseshoe the whole time, and, man, I'm getting – it's like a lot going on, so I hadn't really gotten my mind wired toward the poker yet, but I'm going to play, I believe, 3 warm-up events. And then the main next Saturday, July 6th. So I'm getting pretty stoked.
That's awesome.
Stoked about the Vegas. Been feeling some good.
Where can people follow that along?
On my Twitter, Poker Go. I strongly recommend downloading the Poker Go app. It's like $15, but they stream all the final tables and have they do a great job covering everything with World Series of Poker. So I would say that's the best way to follow it. I usually end up at one of their feature tables at some point too. So I'm super stoked about that, and looking forward to the Vegas. And this week should be fun in the office. And then I'm in recovery mode after Red Rocks. So Billy, I don't know if you saw, I failed my first grade test yesterday. It was tough.
Oh,
it was rough.
You took that after Red Rocks?
Yeah, my new advice would be don't do 2 nights of Red Rocks and then have any kind of an exam. Probably not very smart.
Dude, the altitude kicked my ass.
Did it?
When I woke up in Denver, I don't do well with that altitude. I don't know what it is, but I felt I've been hungover before. We had a couple Coors Lights at the Panic concert, but nothing could have prepared me for how hard the altitude hit me on the drive, because when I started driving, I didn't realize, Mile High Denver, that's handleable. But you go up to 10,000 feet during the drive down to Utah.
Oh, wow.
You're driving, the speed limits are 90, 80 miles per hour around there. So you're going 80 miles per hour doing a full extra mile up, and you don't realize it. So then you end up driving 80 miles per hour to elevate a mile higher. So you're 10,000 feet higher than sea level, and you've done it in an hour and a half, and you just start feeling really terrible for you don't understand what's going on, and you're like, oh God, like, why do I feel so sick? Like, Jesus. And then you realize it's because you raised your elevation super fast, and you're like 10,000 feet, which is higher than Denver, and you're just
Denver
altitude sick.
Mount Mile High is 5,280. So that's it's like almost twice.
Yeah.
Man.
So that kicked my ass.
You just pounded
but then it was sick. I was pounding water, but like, there's nothing really that can prepare you. They say that larger people don't handle altitude as well. So then you get this weird, like, amazing relief when you get back down, like when you get into lower altitude. So like we got up to 10,000, then you go down, and then you just suddenly like start feeling better, and it's like the best relief ever.
Wow. I guess I've been up 10,000. I guess I've been up like 9,000. I've been up there before. The altitude's no joke, though, man. When your body's not used to it, it usually takes a day or two to get used to it. It makes those Coors Lights flow too. The altitude definitely will make you catch some buzzes quicker.
Yeah, but it's a great time.
Hell yeah! So you're heading.
Man, we should go on a trip.
We should go on a trip. So you're headed. So you're in Vegas for a few. You're in Vegas for a few days, and then you're heading to some national parks. Any particular ones you've got in mind?
Trying to hit Moab, trying to hit Zion.
I've always heard a lot about Zion.
And then I want to check out the Salt Flats.
Ooh.
In that part of Utah. I've never been to Utah, so.
Hell yeah. That's exciting. And then you're gonna go, and then after that you're heading up north.
Mm-hmm.
So what a trip.
That's more like vacation.
Yeah, got it. Got it.
For the July 4th. So it's great to like start here and get it going.
Well, hell yeah, man! Sounds like a great American West road trip. And I know you're working hard. Got 2 audio cracks coming out this week. How's that going?
Good. We banked 2 episodes. We got 2 more for next week. Just pumping them out. Big things are coming with audio cracks, so stay tuned. We got a lot of great guests coming on. So, hey, please like, subscribe, tune in. I think, we've had some great episodes. It's one of those things where I'm actually very proud of the body of work we put in. I think we're up to like 20 episodes now, which, Jack Mack once told me that podcasts that make it to 15 episodes are much more likely to get to, uh, you know, 200 episodes. So, like, go back and check out some of the old episodes. I recommend the one about Flight MH370 disappearing, biohacking with Josie Zahner. There was we've done a ton of really cool interviews and had a lot of great times, interesting topics. So definitely recommend checking it out. Like, there's some cool stuff on there. So
Hell yeah.
hopefully, it's growing. It's on an upward trajectory. Got the numbers, so I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, okay. Obviously, it's been a couple months ago. Would you ever consider running for office again, or is that just retired now?
Well, right after it happened, I was like, I don't know, like, I need some time to think about if I'm ever going to do this again. As I get farther away from it, I'm thinking, like, we got a real shot next time. We really could push this to the next level. So that's where I'm sort of at with it. It's going to be a lot of time till I can start running again, probably 2 years, 2026 for Congress. So who knows? We'll look into it and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But you might be seeing me on Fox News again.
What did you learn from that experience?
I learned that the idea of free choice when it comes to your politicians is very much manufactured. And the way there's several ways institutions can ensure that the candidate that they want gets on the ballot. And there's numerous sort of tools they have at their disposal, dirty tricks that they can do. Like, they can flip people in, like, your own vendors, like, through use of, it's just, you don't know until you do it what you can encounter. Like, you don't know how they can cheat until you see them cheat, because some of it's so diabolical that you can't even imagine it occurring. So it was pretty wild. But I definitely might get it going again, because it's pretty, I mean, seeing how this country's looking, we need some people to step up and actually try and do the right thing.
I love it. Love it. Well, I feel like, you dipped your toes into the water, and, this year you didn't really know what to expect. I feel like you had to have just learned a ton. And so you'll be so much more ready for next time. And you're young, So I don't know. I can't wait. I hope you do it again, because I thought that was that was one of my favorite things I've followed in a long time. I was bummed you didn't make it this summer, because I wanted the Music Fest rally. I was excited about.
Yeah, dude, that was, just basically having a rally where you get, like, a free concert, and all you got to do is just register to vote in the primary for me I think it was a decent plan.
I loved it.
We could have gotten Panic to play.
Yeah, I don't know how political they're going to get. But no, I love it. I can't, I don't know. I love following it. I just, all the stuff with you, the Congress stuff, just, it was some of my favorite content I think I've ever seen. I just was so obsessed with it. I thought it was so funny. So I hope you get to do it again. So you're out west for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Anything new in New York?
Nothing new in New York. On my way back, so originally when I was driving out, I was supposed to stop in Wheeling, West Virginia to do a video with a dog racer, with a guy who basically trains dogs to race. It's like one of the last tracks in the United States you can race greyhounds. And I just, like, the sport's going to disappear most likely in the next coming years, just how things are trending. So just kind of sort of capturing the last sort of essence of what dog racing is, the people behind it, and, like, who've been doing it for hundreds of years, like, what exactly the practices are, how do they choose what dogs are the fastest. So hopefully on the way back it's not as hot, because they had to cancel all the races because of the heat wave. So hopefully when we're on our way back, we can shoot that video with the guy who breeds and trains the dogs, and then also races them, because I think that's going to be a fascinating video.
Yeah, so. I'm definitely in. And like you said, it's almost over. And, I know it's still, I guess we're sitting here in late June, but we're 2 months out. Are you starting to get excited about football season yet?
Oh, yeah. Like, it's now gotten to the point where, like, all the sports right now, like, yeah, I'll watch playoff hockey. I'll watch the NBA if it's a good series. and actually won my future for College World Series that you gave
Okay,
me.
you had Tennessee.
Did you? I think you gave me Tennessee.
I don't know if I did,
or I
but
just
good for
took
you. But
it.
if you won, you won it. I'm taking zero
Yeah,
credit for it, but congrats to you.
yeah. But then, but football's coming up, and I'm getting hyped. I mean, I like fight sports too, so like UFC, boxing. So I've been watching those fights over the summer because always over the summer there's some pretty decent ones. But now I'm getting geared up for football. I mean, we got Aaron
I
Rodgers
was gonna
getting
say, how are
flack
you on
again.
the Jets thing? I mean, I know obviously last year was pretty heartbreaking, but you got to be starting to get excited again, right?
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is going to do ayahuasca and not going to mandatory camps. I mean, that's good. That's a good sign. That's our quarterback getting his mind right. Like Aaron Rodgers is getting his mind right, and we should be celebrating that. But the media just wants to tear him down. Like it's just crazy how the
Shameful.
Jets are already hit with controversy. It's not shameful. Like he's been at voluntary offseason camps.
No,
So like
I was saying
just to
that
get the missed.
shameful they were trying to tear him down. Not shameful.
Yeah,
Never
they're
mind.
trying to like it's ridiculous. It's literally like there's a concerted effort to just sabotage the Jets in the media. It's ridiculous.
No, it does seem. It seems like
But
it's always one thing after another. But I'm excited to see. I hope he stays healthy. I'd like to see. The Jets hadn't made the playoffs
yeah,
since like what 09, 08. It's the longest streak I think in
yeah.
the NFL. But yeah, ready for some football season. I know you're pumped for that. Enjoying following your westward journey. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's great content. I love what you're just getting out. You're doing the damn thing, and glad you made it Sunday night, man. You had a good time. Y'all it seemed like you had a good time at that show. That was dude. It was
It
really
was
rocking.
awesome.
It was really rocking.
Ben's got a great group.
Yeah, we kicked it with a couple of my Monroe guys I grew up with, and my buddy brought his little 9-year-old daughter to her first Panic show. She was awesome at it. She seemed, I don't know, I was like, man, that's a pretty bold move, but I thought she handled it pretty well. She was the life of the party for sure. Well, Billy, I just want to say thanks for joining us on Wake Up Mintzy as always. Check out that audio crack's going to be coming out with Billy and I. Some hopefully coherent ramblings from midnight right after Red Rocks Panic Sunday. We'll see. Like I said, I'm curious to see how that gets edited up. And hopefully I didn't say anything I regret. I don't think I did. I don't think I did though.
Yeah,
And
that was pretty great.
yeah, and have fun in Vegas. Let me know. Send me a picture. Seriously, go to the Mob Museum. I think that's right up your alley. I think you'll love it. Check that out. And I'm gonna send you some
Perfect.
restaurant. I'm
Thanks
gonna
so
send you
much,
some
sir.
restaurant recs too. I got some good restaurant recs for Vegas.
Awesome.
All right, thanks to Billy
a good one.
Football. Thanks for Billy
Thanks, Ben.
Football for joining us on Wake Up Mintzy as always. What a fun westward journey though he has. I mean, I admire it. Getting in the car, New York to Cincinnati to Topeka to Denver to Vegas. In that 100-degree heat, does sound like a lot, but we had a blast Sunday night at Red Rocks, and the Sunday show was just, it was spectacular. They, played like lawyers, guns, and money, and for what it's worth, and just empty. Anyway, I'm not going to nerd out on Panic too much because people get annoyed with it, but it was awesome. It was badass, and I was lucky to get to go, and I'll continue to do the Red Rocks weekend as much as I can. Also want to mention, so yesterday, I mentioned it for a second, but I want to expand on it a little bit. I failed first grade. It was tough. Tate, the Mincy Madison series going. I had my first grade test yesterday. If you didn't check it out, it was on Viva. We did it live. So we did a scavenger hunt around the office, and Spider was a tiger. Every time he touched me, I lost a minute, and I had to find 26 things in the office from A through Z in 30 minutes, and I found 24, and I lost 3 minutes on Spider touching me and missed it by 2. And I don't know if I'm going to have to retake. I don't know if I'm getting held back from first grade, or I'm going to have to retake. I think I'm going to have to retake a test to get past. But I don't know. The content, it was pretty funny, I got to say. But it was a lot harder than it looks. I mean, especially stuff like use. And, I had to use Zoopy for Z. A few of those were kind of tough. I don't know. I felt like it was harder than I thought it would be. It seemed like a very hard test for a first grader, but that was just my thoughts. But check that series out. Tate and Lucas are doing a damn good job. We'll have a new episode out next Monday, and then we're going to figure out another test for me to get through first grade on Thursday or Friday. Also excited this week. My dad and sister and brother-in-law are coming up here. We're doing Rolling Stones Thursday night. I'm trying to get my dad through the office at some point this week, so that should be fun. So a lot of stuff going on at Barstool as always. It's kind of sad though. This is a little bit of a sad day in that with the College World Series Game 3 and the Stanley Cup Finals Game 7 being over, that's kind of the sports world. You still got Wimbledon and the Open Championship in golf coming up, but still, things kind of slow down. It's kind of time to get back into watching poker go on World Series of Poker. And, I'm flying to Vegas Saturday. I'm trying to make the Orleans $600 tournament Saturday night. I know I'm playing the Aria 1600 Monday and the Moneymaker 1700 Main Tuesday at MGM. And then I'm doing the Dead Sphere the 4th, and then I'm playing the World Series Main 6th. So got a good plan. You can't just show up for a 10K event and expect to do well. So I think the move is for me to get out there, play 3 or 4 warm-up tournaments, get the Destroyers game and mine right, and, then play the main. So I'm super pumped about Vegas. Kind of just with so much going on last week with the dozen, and then we had Red Rocks, and then now I got my folks coming in. I'm kind of like trying to get my mind wired toward Vegas, but man, I'm super pumped about the main. I've 2 for 8 in the main lifetime. Due for another run. Had the big run in 2011, big run in 2018. So, maybe there's something that's like I guess it would be next year. It would be every 7 years. But whatever. The point is I'm due. I hadn't cashed in it since 18. Last year I got 2,500th when they paid top 1,500. But just excited to get out there to Vegas, play the main, get in the game, and, there will be a video log, by the way. So Corey Rutledge and I are almost finished for the Jazz Festival and had to edit out some music stuff. That's coming out here soon. Finishing working on that with him today. And check out the Mintzy Madison. We're going to be doing Wake Up Mintzy all week. Life's good, man. I'm loving summer in Chicago. Believe the hype on the summer in Chicago. It's amazing. And I want to thank Tyler Moody, as always, for holding down the fort in Louisiana. Billy Football for joining us from Vegas. Check out the Stella Blue Cold Brew. 4 brands out today. It's going to be a great summer. Got to have the iced coffee in the summer. And thanks for Dude Wipes, as always, for cleaning up all our messes. We'll be back tomorrow on Wake Up Mintzy.